think it was me.
I don't think I was thinking.
Notes. Let me just double check. Transcript recording. Yeah, that's what we want is a transcript. Capture the conversation for later. And it's the notes because it had a. All right, I think we're good. All right, I guess I will kick it off. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, and welcome to the Blurring the Lines podcast. This is episode number 226, and I'm your host, Adam Bell. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, Peter Nikolaidis. How you doing, Peter?
Hey.
You're Fat Albert.
Actually, I did look at my weight on the scale today for the first time in several days, and my trend has been like a straight 0.2 pound increase. So I'm back up to, I was like just over 160 for the first time in a week or two today.
Wow.
But I have a feeling I know why. I attended the Secure World conference on Wednesday and Thursday, and that included, standard vendor things. We're doing a happy hour. We're doing a dinner.
And we're having dessert in between. You're going to eat breakfast, then you're going to eat brunch, then you're going to eat lunch, then you're going to eat dessert. Then we're going out for a light meal for dinner, which includes steaks and potatoes.
Your strength, right? I did that, and everything was, I had a glass of Cabernet. Everything was fine. Got to dinner, had a beer. Everything was fine, and then someone decided that it was time to do shots. And I got maybe 3 hours of sleep that night. It was pretty terrible. So I was just a freaking zombie yesterday. So couldn't wait to get home and go to bed. So.
Yeah, I'm tired of this work. I need to go home.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, so that's a bit of a health update, I guess, right there. Diet changes. I had to look. I don't remember how many days it's been, but it was at least 2 weeks. I haven't had any alcohol. Little update too. I think I talked about this on the latest Friends with Brews, but I did have a pleasant non-alcoholic wine.
Oh, you found one.
It was introduced to me. I wasn't looking for it. It just kind of showed up in my lap. But it's like a brut style. So it's like a champagne, but it's really sweet. Okay. And I don't remember if they added apple juice to it or just grape juice, but it's like wine. They de-alcoholize it, but then they put grape juice back in. So it tastes at first, like if I didn't know better, I would have, took a sip and then I would have said it tastes like a sparkling cider. Right. But not an alcoholic sparkling cider, just like a sweet, bubbly cider. That was very pleasant. It's like 90 calories a glass or so. So it's, comparable to a soda or grape juice or something like that. So, so again, if you're pounding that, you're going to pay for it, but not the same way as if you were pounding a Moscato.
Yeah. Well, I have some good news health-wise. So we did, this is the third week for the mere mortals of the CrossFit Open. And so the workouts are typically, you've got these movements and you get all the way. If you get all the way through them, you count the number of reps that there are. Like the first round, there were 350 reps, and then the next one was like 200 reps, and then this one was 200 reps. And if you got done with all of them, then you use how quickly you got through it as your number. Say, let's say that you and I both competed, and we both completed them. Whoever completed them faster would win between the two of us. Well, I don't really have the illusion that I am a elite CrossFit athlete, and so I didn't really plan on getting all the way through the workout. But I had 20 minutes to do the workout, and I got all the way through in 18 minutes and 15 seconds. So I completed the workout today. So that was a minor win for me.
I'll take them, man. My workouts have been mostly physical therapy. and also my home personal trainer routine. But I haven't done that. Haven't done the home routine now for several weeks, but I was out for a while, and then my trainer was out because he messed up his shoulder, so he's in a sling now in the office or in the gym. So I've been seeing him twice a week though. So that's my my strength time. But now I'm doing PT for my shoulder and my knee. So to get through the entire routine, if I buckle down and do it, like if I no breaks, it's like 45 minutes to do all the exercises.
Yeah.
But if I'm watching a show or a movie at night, I'll do a lot of the stuff sitting on the couch, like scapular or raises and pulling, the upper body stuff, and also like quad sets and stuff. Put my foot up on the pabazon and stretch it out there. So anyway, yeah, it's going well though. Things are feeling a lot better. Running's been great. Haven't knock on wood, hasn't been hurting. So things are good.
Still proceeding on your length or distance?
Gradually.
Yeah.
Yep. I forget what my excuse me. I forget what my target is for my long run this weekend, but I mean it's not even 4 miles. I know that much. So it's quote unquote long run. So.
So it's funny. I walk the dog after I work out. And I
take that back. I'm sorry. I misspoke. 4.2 miles this week.
Nice. There you go.
I was wrong. Okay.
I walk the dog after I work out, and I aim for my 1 mile split to be less than 18 minutes. That's what I kind of aim for.
That's a brisk walk. That's decent.
Yeah. And so that's normally what I hit, but some mornings, I'll do 18 and a half, and but it's still fine. But I've noticed yesterday I worked out hard, and today I worked out hard, and both of them were 19 and a half minute walks. And I was like, hey, this is I didn't feel like I walked that slow, but I mean I did.
You did.
I did.
The watch doesn't lie except when it does.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes. Well, cool. Let's see what else. I think and what's the weather like there? It's awesome here.
It's relatively speaking, it's awesome here too.
Mm-hmm.
But that means it's just barely in the 50s.
I don't know what temperature. I guess we're probably close to 70, if not 70 plus. Okay. But it's nice right now because it's warm and the bugs haven't gotten out of hibernation yet. So I mean, some annoying little gnats, but all the mosquitoes, the big nasty ones that you don't like.
No cicadas. No. I can't do that. That's the best cicada impression.
Yeah. So, well, cool. So what else is happening?
All kinds of things that we're not going to get into today.
Oh,
no. Let's see. I finished up Invincible season 3 last night.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. He maintains. Mark maintains his same character flaws. Didn't end exactly how I thought it was going to. I thought we were going to see some other characters show up and save the day, and it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm on Daredevil Born Again episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 3, I think, was better. It was better. The first 2, my expectations were not quite met.
Mm-hmm.
This one was a little bit better. So I was like, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful it's going to get better as it goes along.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight I got a ticket to see Black Bag, the new Cate Blanchett, Michael Fassbender movie.
Oh, okay.
Apparently they're a happily married couple. And I think, if I understand correctly from the previews, they're both assassins. And I guess the premise is that one gets a contract to take out the other.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of like a Mr. or Mrs. Smith, but not a comedy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm curious to see them. I think that looks like fun.
So you should check out on Apple TV. No, I was The Gorge.
Saw it.
You saw it. Did you like it?
I did.
I did too. I mean, I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but it was sci-fi, but it didn't go where I thought it was going to go. But I mean, I did enjoy it. I liked it well enough to watch it again.
Yeah, I haven't watched it a second time. I did enjoy it. I liked the characters. Also, I'll put it in. Yeah, we should link to it in the podcast in the show notes, but also link to the pitch meeting for it.
Oh, really?
Because as always, the pitch meeting was great. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm about to watch that.
Yep. Yeah, I love Ryan George. He's great.
Cool. So I've got a book that you ought to check out. I don't know if we talked about it. Buy Then Build.
Nope, you texted me about it, but that's it. Have not actually heard about it before.
So the guy who wrote it, his name is Walker Deble, and of course, you can buy the book, and then of course they sell the program of how you do it and how how guidance for all that. You don't need it. You personally don't need it, but it is you have some idea how you would buy a company if you wanted to buy a company, but he offers the science, or not science, but it's not science. It's just the process and kind of best practices of buying a company, and how you determine what type of company you want to buy. Forget it, where you set aside the industry, set aside what you're an expert at. Forget that. That's not the most important thing to start at. What's most important is, how much money do you want to make? How much is it going to be a life cycle or a lifestyle company for you? Are you going to be an absentee owner? Are you going to be actively engaged in it?
Yep.
Do you want a growth company, or do you want a static company? Like a restaurant would be considered a very static company that is same revenue over and over, and those
unless you're expanding to new locations, in which case it's not a restaurant, it's multiple restaurants, of course.
Yeah, and he talks about places where you would go to find it and tactics for buying, and what I liked about him, or liked about what he said too, is he doesn't go. It's not like a Robert Kiyosaki of stacking money to get rich. He's talking about. He is talking about leveraging debt, but he's talking about, managing risk and leveraging debt. I personally am more conservative than he is with his, what he would recommend, because things go wrong. Companies have setbacks, employees leave, sometimes taxes are,
I was going to say tariffs get imposed.
Things, it's not so I would, he talks about buying a company with 10% down. To me, that's a bit too highly leveraged. I would rather have, maybe 20 or 30% down, or if I were going to buy a 10% down, I'd want to have emergency cash to cover. So it's really a good guideline for somebody who wants to buy a company, who has sold a company before or has a little bit of money. Somebody who's got no money, it's not a thing. You need to start a company. Plus, you also need to be an entrepreneur and know how to be a CEO in order to just buy a company, unless you're going to learn from the previous owner in some capacity.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So just generic buying a business lessons then.
Yeah. But I would say it's good. It's kind of, because you kind of it formulates a lot of those thoughts and pulls them together. You're like things that that you need to do, but then it puts it all together. And that's the hardest part, is what you need to do, but you got to write it down, you got to organize it, and then buy. And it kind of puts together a time frame of things that you need to have in place before you even start the process. So that's fun.
All right. So if you're looking to buy a business, dear listener, maybe check out this book.
Yeah, I would definitely do that. And then, so I had sent you this week, or maybe it was this week. No, maybe last week. So I had found the fear and greed index when it comes to stocks. And, I was in the investment banking, institutional sales, and trading business in IT for about 8.5 years.
Okay.
And I mean, we talked about fear. I mean, that was, that's kind of what makes it bullish, makes it bearish, that people are afraid to buy. But I was like, when did this index actually get created? I mean, when could you see? So it was 2012. Well, I left the finance industry 2008. So it came 4 years after. I was like, oh, well, that's why I've never heard of it. And didn't dig into it. Or, I mean, because I don't follow stocks. I mean, I have stocks, I have mutual funds, but I try to pretend like they're not there, that it's a savings, and I'm not going to get obsessed about when it goes up and down until it's closer to retirement, and then I need to get those things in steady, safer things. So I did, I kind of pulled together. I'm gonna read this. So for our listeners that don't know what the fear and greed index is, so it's a sentiment indicator that measures market emotions ranging from extreme fear to extreme greed. It helps investors gauge whether stocks are fairly priced based on prevailing emotions. The index typically ranges from 0, extreme fear, to 100, extreme greed, with lower values suggest the potential buying opportunities and higher values indicate potential market corrections. It's calculated using factors like volatility, market momentum, put call ratios, and demand for safe haven assets. What do you think yesterday's fear and greed index was?
I have to say that we're probably heavily in the fear zone these days.
You would be mostly correct. We are in the extreme fear zone.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was not extreme enough with my response.
Yes. So there is fear, and then there's extreme fear. In the other end too, there's greed, and then there's extreme greed. And that's when it's talking about there needs to be a correction.
Yep.
So yesterday it closed at 14, which is extreme greed. The threshold for extreme fear, when it moves from extreme fear to just fear, that threshold is 25.
Got it.
So a year ago it was 70, which is greed. Falls into the greed index.
Right. Because Biden was so bad for the economy. And
he was terrible. Yeah. Well, yeah, there were so many things that are different now, but it's really it's why the stock market failed. When we had the crash, it was all about fear. People they're like, I want my money out now because I don't believe that this is safe anymore. Give it to me. And we are really close. I mean, we're really at that. One thing though is that if you're a person who is in this for longer than, say the next 5 years, now is a good time to buy.
Yes.
Because people are afraid and they're really, I'm going to get rid of it. I got to get rid of it. I got to get cash. I want to buy gold bullion. So you're going to sell me $1,000 or Bitcoin for $750? All right.
Sounds like a discount.
Sounds like a discount.
Yeah. With the caveat, and of course, dear listener, we are not investment advisors, and so don't trust anything you hear here without doing your own research.
Yeah.
But with the caveat that it could still get worse.
Yeah. It could still get worse. Our business or our stock advice, it's worth what you paid for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. So that, like I said, the long term, hopefully from, 10, 15 years from now, when we want to retire, this will be either a good buying season, because I mean, I'm still buying stocks. I mean, I'm still buying retirement. So hopefully my dollars will be worth more, 15 years from now.
So, I mean, I'm still investing, right? And I have any spare money I have, because I have two options, right? Well, three options: spend it, save it, or pay down debt. And right now I have 2 loans to my name, not counting monthly, revolving credit card debt, but I have I don't remember how much more left on my new furnace and HVAC system I put in last year, which was financed at 0%. So I'm not paying that one off anytime soon.
Yeah.
Right. And I have my mortgage on my house, which was, I think last I checked, it was like 3.75%.
Yeah.
Which, although rates have come down, I don't think they're that low yet. Right.
No, they're nowhere near that. Because, well, I had a home equity line for years. Well, because that's how I bought my farm. I bought it with a home equity line against my house. And when I got it, it was like 2.75 when I got it, but it was an ARM. So, and I'm like, well, it's going to be a while before it goes up. And then you're like, well, you could lock it in at a certain point once you do this and change it over. And 2 years ago, I think I had to lock it in because it was moving. I think it had gotten all the way to 5, almost 6. Like I had to lock it in.
Yep. It's that time,
Yeah. Well, I got serious about that and I paid it off.
Yep. And then that's the thing is, like, right now, my it always happens, like whenever I have loans and I come into a bunch of cash, the smallest ones are always the ones with or the ones that get paid off first are always the ones with the lowest interest rates.
Oh yeah.
Like, so when I refinance my house or something, I made this go away, and like, oh, that was only 2.75, 2 point whatever percent. Or then I like traded in my car, and that was like 1.49% when I paid it off and stuff. So it's like, it's my highest interest loan, but it's also my only real loan with any interest. So I guess it's not that big a deal. So.
Yeah. Well, you and I had talked, I don't know, maybe last week or so, kind of offline, and you're like me. Debt that I could pay off bothers me.
Yes.
I don't know why it should, but it bothers. I mean, even with Sublime, my credit card bill is not due until like the 23rd.
Yep.
It's not due, but I've got the money, because invoices have come in and I need to pay. I'm going to have to pay this off anyway. Well, why would I not just go ahead and pay it on the 7th and it'll be done and I won't have to think about it and it'll be zero. And it makes me feel better when there's no debt.
Yep. And I figured it out that I was like, yep, I can do that. Or I can leave it in an interest-bearing account. And at the end of the month, I'll have 20, 30, $100 of interest for not. So, it's hard though. It's like, I'll make this go away. But I'm like, no, that's a 0% interest loan. It's not due until next month. And that money that I would give to the credit card company is making money over in this interest-bearing account. So, but yeah, every few months I'm like, I could just pay it all off, start from zero. No, I did that when I was going on vacation, for instance, my last trip to Europe, because I had hotels and I had flights and meals and all this other stuff going on. So I was like, all right, I'll pay it down ahead of time. And so anyway, it is what it is. Yeah.
I do that too. Especially if you're getting ready to spend some money. So I need this to be clear. I don't need to be in Europe with a 0% balance that I can spend on my credit card.
Bingo. So on that note, speaking of Europe, that's a new development. I called the bank that I opened my account with in Germany today, because they sent me my debit card, and then they allegedly mailed me my PIN in a separate letter, but I never got it. And then I was online and I clicked the little form to please mail me a new one. I still haven't gotten it. So today I called, and it was fun because I had to enable international calling on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And if I just dial Germany straight up, it's like $2.99 a minute.
Oh, wow.
Or I can have like 300 minutes a month for $10. So I did the math and I figured, what are the odds that I'm on the phone for more than 3 minutes? Pretty good.
Yeah.
So I added that, called, got to the bank, asked, English bitte? And the guy was like, please hold. I transfer you to my colleague who's better English than me. Okay. You were pretty good there, dude, but okay,
Yeah.
I'll take it. So did that, explained what was going on, validated my address and my identity, and they're like, okay, then we'll mail you a new one. So hopefully that one will actually show up in the next few days, and then I can start transferring some funds online to my German bank account.
Are they sending it to somewhere locally instead of somewhere in the United States?
They're sending it in Germany. Yeah.
Oh,
my house over there. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
it just hasn't arrived there.
According to my cousins, they have not seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I figured hopefully by talking to someone on the phone that it would actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, there aren't enough banks that are like completely international that you could like get one there that is also branched here. And
right, like, and even if you did, though, Citizens Bank is Royal Bank of Scotland. Santander is from over there, but even then, even when you do, I think it's still, they generally operate, as far as I understand it. Maybe I'm wrong. Listener, correct me if you know, but they operate pretty much as largely as independent entities.
mm-hmm.
So just because even if I had like a Schwab Britain bank account, I don't think I can just like, okay, move this over to Britain. I think there's more hoops involved.
So, who's using Bitcoin? I mean,
Elon Musk and
how?
President Trump.
How? Where?
We have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Didn't you hear?
Well, no, I didn't hear that.
No, I'm not making this up.
No, but I still didn't hear that.
Well, it's true. Our president, in his infinite wisdom, has declared that we need to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve.
And what are we? But the thing is, Bitcoin is still backed by dollars. I mean,
no, it's not. It's not.
I know, but it equals $1.
Well, I mean, you can trade it,
yeah,
but it's not backed. There's a difference, because that's like what you're talking about is what those words mean, a stable coin, which is tied to it.
Yeah, and no, you're right. It is not. It's not fiat money for fiat money.
Right.
But we equate how much a Bitcoin is in dollars.
Sure.
Yeah,
we do, but I'm sure other people do it in euros and yen, etc.
Yeah.
So,
but I've never bought anything in Bitcoin.
I have. I don't remember exactly what I did, but I did buy something else in Bitcoin. Wasn't a lot. It wasn't much.
But you probably didn't have to. You were probably
I was doing it for fun.
IT guy mode.
Yeah, totally. I was doing it for fun.
I bought stuff in Bitcoin.
I mean, I don't know if they are still, but like Dell was accepting Bitcoin. Tesla probably still is. You can probably still buy a Tesla with Bitcoin. If you're going to buy a Tesla. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's as much as Bitcoin and crypto bros will say to the contrary. There's nothing you can't do with Bitcoin, or that you can do with Bitcoin that you can't do with some other currency.
So when I go to Mexico this summer, will they take my Bitcoin at the market?
I don't know.
I don't think they will. They won't even take a Guatemalan coin.
But El Salvador does, right?
I don't know.
They didn't. I think it was El Salvador that standardized on Bitcoin as the national currency, and then everything fell apart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it went just as well as you would expect it to.
You'd be better off doing pounds. Sound is a pound, baby.
Sound is a pound. Oh boy! All right. So,
what else is worth talking about?
I don't know. Let's see. We covered our health thing. We covered our business thing. Did we have a nifty for this week?
What is nifty? I don't have anything super nifty.
Okay. I don't have anything new and nifty. So maybe we should just table that and just not try to get nifty today. All right. So we talked briefly about the Gorge, and I mentioned Daredevil. I mentioned Invincible, and I mentioned the movie that I'm going tonight. So that's what we watch and what we're gonna watch. And you mentioned the book on building versus buying. So that's what we read and what you're gonna read. I don't know, man. I think we might wrap this one early.
Yeah, it's a short pitch today.
Oh, well, just our listeners don't have to endure anything more than they absolutely have to.
All right, then take us out.
I will take us out, dear listener. If you want to find us, you already have. But if you forgot how you did that, you might try again at the blurringthelinespodcast.com website, blurringthelinespodcast.com. You can find Adam there, and you can find me there. You can also find Adam at rrlavenderfarm.com. And you can find me at peternikolaidis.com. That's both my domain name and my Bluesky handle. And I'm also, if you're a Mastodon freak, I'm at Nikolaidis at infosec.exchange. And on that note, I think it's time that we push the big red button.